Welcome back, everyone, to Rick's Reviews. I'm Rick Grimes. Let's do this. For the record, I'm not going to be recapping every little damn detail that happens in these episodes. I did that the last time. I think that's more of a recap. It's not as much of a review, so I'm going to try to just give you my opinion, as is. But having said all that, let's begin. Alright, so we start off with Maggie. She's swarmed, but as we all know, and as I predicted, it's just going to be another Glenn moment. Underneath the dumpster, or in this case, the subway car. And she's fine. Comes up through the floor, and of course, punches Negan. She pistol whips the shit out of him, which is what he deserves, I guess, but part of me kind of sympathizes. If you're not going to stick your neck out for me, why would you think I'd do it for you? You think I owe you something? Nah. We get a really nice shot of Father Gabriel's stunt double coming in through the ceiling. I don't even know why they used that guy. The back of his head looks completely different than Father Gabriel. He's not even the same skin tone. I understand where Negan's coming from. I do. In similar circumstances, I might have done the same thing. It's kind of the Batman dilemma.
I won't kill you,
but I don't have to save you. Basically, the group gets into a huge discussion and argument about the fact that Negan's an asshole. Newsflash, I guess. I guess you all didn't get the memo that he's a bit of a dick. Now, while Maggie is coming up through the floor, Daryl somehow finds his way through a wall, which is, I guess, a new achievement in this Walking Dead video game. That you can just find holes in walls and just climb on through. Once again, we keep seeing these hieroglyphics on the walls. The proverbial writing on the wall. Walking Dead, you've got to stop it. It's not necessary. We don't need to see that. You're just spoon feeding us. And when we cut back to Yumiko, Princess, Eugene, Ezekiel, basically Yumiko asks to see their supervisor. They're shocked. They're shocked to hear somebody try to live like we would have in the real world before all this. And it actually works. She's right. They have rules. They have government. They have assignments. They might even have their own money in circulation. And she's able to spot all this. It's a stressful situation because nobody's giving any information. They're keeping everything super hush-hush, where people are going, what they're getting asked, what they're doing, when they'll be back. A big crux of this episode is Maggie's state of mind. What kind of person she is. When she gets back into the train car and after the arguments with Negan, we see this young kid named Gage. He's the one who ran off before, the one that Negan saved. And although he's on the other side of just this one door, Maggie just insists that she can't waste the resources to save him. And so she leaves him for dead and just watches him. In my personal opinion, I don't know why you wouldn't try to take as many of those walkers down yourself and just try to plow through, make your way out. You know, me, Daryl, Maggie, Glenn, we've taken on worse odds and made it out. Back when we led the horde away from Alexandria, I thought we were done, but we took out thousands. But instead, because this kid is stupid as shit, he stabs himself, kills himself before the walkers can, and they devour him right there on the spot in front of everyone. Now, this whole time, Alden is insistent that they could have saved him, and I agree. I would have tried to save that kid. Nobody deserves to die like that. And you can tell just by looking on Alden's face that he's just disgusted at the coldness from Maggie, Father Gabriel, her people. The only person in the world who seems to even give a shit is Alden and Negan. Then there's this whole part of the episode where Maggie tells Alden and the whole group this awful story about finding these disgusting men who had tied up and tortured, dismembered, and impregnated these women. And they were all dead from starvation. And Maggie put them all down and took their food. And she says that she feels nothing. But here's what I got a big issue with, is I don't believe that good storytelling requires you to spoon feed what the character's thinking or things that happen to them off camera. I think it's really lazy. I just don't think it's very good. Now, if you had the new members from Maggie's group, and Maggie's just kind of off at the end of the subway cart trying to come up with a plan, looking stoic, not sad, just determined to get out, that would make more sense. Because new characters get a free pass when it comes to divulging new information. But when you have a character who's been around for 10 years in this world, and we've watched them grow, we know what they've been through, and now you're trying to add on more? Come on. It's lazy. Daryl finds this old guy, part of their group. He gives him his gun and a grenade. I wonder if that'll come into play later. The walkers start getting into the subway car regardless, so you might as well have tried to save that kid. Either way, they got in. At least he could have died knowing that you tried. Gabriel, Maggie, the others, they start taking out as many as they can. But there's just too many of them to fight off. This is really hard, you guys. Maggie, she gives Negan a gun. I guess to symbolize that she kind of trusts him a little bit, or at least enough to know that he's not going to shoot her in the back. Daryl ends up coming through from the other side of the subway, and with his gun, he takes out a number of walkers all by himself. He helps the group push him back, throws a grenade in, kills them all. We get some more insight about this red stormtrooper guy, Mercer, the one who's in charge. He says to Eugene, I know you've been holding stuff back, and that's definitely true. And to unburden himself, Eugene just he says the real reason why he's here. He's in love with Stephanie. And he didn't want to give any more information because he didn't want to scare her off, because he's a virgin, and because he didn't want her to know that he had to lie to her. Because he's had a long history of being a liar, and he's come a long way. He has. You can take the man off the street, but you can't take the street out of the man. And in this case, just replace the street for cowardice, having to lie, to go along to get along. Because Eugene is so upfront, Mercer allows him to rejoin Yumiko, Princess, and Ezekiel. We come to find out that where Ezekiel was, they were treating him, giving him medicine. Princess, she was just fine. And Yumiko, she's also good. She had a good discussion with the auditors, gave him a good dressing down, but she was right. They have rules, they have a system. And then Mercer comes in, and he inducts them into the Commonwealth. Says that they've passed level 1 assessment. There still might be more levels. I don't really know. But they got through the first one. And after being super relieved that he reunited with his friends, Eugene sees Stephanie, a beautiful young woman who, even just by looking at her, you can kind of tell she's just his type. I really do hope that they do something with that, because I do think that Eugene has come enough of a way to where he deserves some stuff to go his way. He's made himself useful. He's made up for a lot of his mistakes. He's an asset. Maybe he wouldn't have been as much of an asset in the world before, but now he's one of our best guys, and he's got a big heart. And somebody with a big heart like that deserves to have somebody to share that love with. So they get accepted. Negan gives the gun back to Maggie. She has this look on her face that she almost kind of trusts him, but then they have this stupid little moment where they linger on it just for a little too long, to show that there's still animosity there. Maggie then mentions a detour called Arbor Hill. She brings up Georgie for the first time in a few seasons and says that there's rations and supplies there at Arbor Hill. They put it there just in case if they got caught out while they were on a run. How this hasn't been used by now, I don't know. It's all too convenient. That's what I don't like. There's no struggle. They're still finding food in packets and stuff like that. It's bullshit. Okay? When they arrive to Arbor Hill or thereabouts, they come across these gallows, people hanging from their feet, upside down, dead, throats cut. Then our group is ambushed by the Reapers. They shoot arrows, they hit a couple of our guys. One guy gets a knife in the leg. It also chops off his right hand. Another guy gets hit with an arrow. They all duck for cover, but it looks like they're going to have to fight their way out. So here's some of my thoughts on all this. I don't like the speed at which they fluctuate this whole Maggie and Negan drama. They trust each other, they don't. Give him a gun, give the gun back. Gonna kill him. We need him. It's too wishy-washy. Make up your damn mind. No one would ever do this. Hot and cold shit in real life. Now what I do like is the way that they're setting it up. They're setting it up to where Daryl is going to disagree with Maggie, and he's going to lean more towards Negan's side because he is speaking sense. I mean, you can hate him as much as you want, but it's undeniable. In this case, he wanted to save that kid, so did Alden, and Maggie let him die. He warned us about going down there during the storm. We almost lost a couple of people. We did. In terms of storytelling, I see what they're trying to do. But they're trying to spoon feed us with Maggie's story. Like I said, she straight up says, almost to the camera, the woman who left 6 years ago is not the woman that's standing in front of you now. Well, no shit. You can't be. You've got a son. You have new people. They did this same shit in the season 8 finale. You all remember that? Maggie disagreed with me because I saved Negan. But there had to be something after. Carl was right. I had to keep Negan alive. To keep this place alive. To keep law and order. Otherwise, in a world that already belongs to the dead, we're just throwing more people to the horde. Yeah. That's the last thing we need. But Maggie said, at the time, she was going to bide her time, wait for her moment, and then she was going to show me how wrong I was about keeping Negan alive.
So we're going to bide our time, wait for our moment, and then we're going to show him.
Yeah. We will.
And then they tried making Daryl side with her. It was a stupid little cliffhanger at the end of the season. It didn't make any sense. And you can say, well, sure, she disagreed with you and that you saved him after what he did to Glenn, but she knew. She knew I had to do that. They're just trying to ride the fence between is she good, is she bad, but I'm sorry, you can't just keep doing that again and again. You just can't. You can't keep leaning on this Maggie shit. Daryl's interesting. Negan's interesting. Even Father Gabriel's interesting, especially knowing where he came from all these years ago. Seeing how cold he can be. But Maggie, I'm sorry, you got a son. Like you said, you got skin in the game. And you need to get your head in the game. You're too much of a loose cannon out there, and I don't think she can be trusted. Because the way that they're doing this, I swear to God, if they try to make a relationship between Maggie and Negan, I'm going to be really upset. Super disappointed. I don't want that. I hope that they start moving a little bit faster. Because keep in mind, people, this is the final season. They don't have an eternity to do all this. They have 22 episodes left to tell the end of this story. How does it end? Don't drag things out. Things have to start moving, getting resolved. We can't still be wondering, will they or won't they? Are they going to kill each other? Are they going to sleep with each other? We can't be wondering that, in the 20th episode of the season. Something's gotta give, and it's gotta happen now. Let me ask you something. After she got those two men killed on this suicide mission, who in their right mind would ever follow Maggie right now? They should see that she's not thinking clearly. She's not the right person to lead. And I'm not saying that Negan is. But what's Daryl doing? Why isn't Daryl taking charge of this? Like I said, just because Maggie comes in here after 6 years and Negan's around doesn't mean that you have to start taking shit from her either. If Maggie's wrong, call her out. It's the only way that she'll learn. I don't care that all of her people voted. Not everyone. And votes can change. People can change their minds. And honestly, I hope that they do, because it looks like they're going to lose a couple more people along the way. And kind of the eternal question is, how many people have to die for your pride, for your stubbornness, to prove you're right? Do you want to be right, or do you want to be alive? That's what you got to ask yourself. You might not be able to have both. If you want both, you're going to have to make compromises. We all do. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. I like the character dynamic, but I swear to God, stop giving me exposition. I don't want to hear it. We are in too deep. It has been over a decade. It has been over a decade of us fighting like this. Having the same damn conversations over and over. It can't keep going like this. It just can't. People need to get their heads out of their asses and just either try to get along or go your separate ways. Those are the choices. Until next time, I'm Rick Grimes, signing off.